Cars.com announced its best car of 2026. It's the Nissan Leaf. An EV taking top place might be a bit shocking considering that we did see the end of federal EV tax credits and several auto brands have slowed or halted their EV push. But Cars.com says there's a number of reasons that the Leaf beat out its competitors. It's affordable, starting around $31,000 with a range of 300 miles. There are also flexible charging options and it has appealing design touches, according to Cars.com. Stellantis, the parent company of Chrysler, is seeing its shares sell off sharply this morning. The automaker says it will write down $26 billion to overhaul its business and pivot away from electric and hybrid vehicles. Well, in the past 6 months, 7% of retirees have re-entered the labor force. That's up from 6% who said the same in the summer, according to the AARP. The top reason, 48%, was they need the money or have a poor economic outlook. AARP says the idea of retirement being a one-time thing for Americans isn't the reality for many of us. And Southwest Airlines will debut a new ad during the Super Bowl, poking fun at its former open seating policy. The ad, Boarding Royale, will air on Peacock and broadcast and local channels across the nation during the Super Bowl Sunday. Amazon shares dropped after the company announced plans to spend $200 billion this year on data centers, chips, and other equipment. The company reported spending about $130 billion on all of that last year. Now, Chief Executive Officer Andy Jassy said the money predominantly would go toward the company's Amazon Web Services cloud unit, and most of that spending would be for AI workloads. Peloton is losing money again as subscriptions keep falling. The hardware refresh has not landed with existing Peloton users, resulting in weaker than expected holiday sales. Last week, the company announced another round of layoffs. And NASA clears the way for astronauts to bring their smartphones with them to space. iPhone and Android devices replace decade-old Nikon and GoPros as primary documentation tools for astronauts. SpaceX private missions already allowed smartphones, creating precedent that NASA now follows. The U.S. and Iran will be talking today to avoid military conflict. Oil prices fell as talks lower the risk of oil supply disruptions. Iran is a significant global oil producer, ranking among the top countries, but its production and exports have been hampered by sanctions. Well, a long-awaited recovery in the farm sector appears to be in sight. AGCO, one of the world's biggest agricultural equipment makers, is predicting an increase in sales for the first time in 3 years. The manufacturer of Massey Ferguson and Fendt tractors estimated this year's net sales just above last year, and growers need to update soon and are increasingly retrofitting existing equipment with AI components that help them more precisely plant, treat, and harvest fields. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the FDA was relaxing its enforcement of federal food additive regulations, making it easier for manufacturers to claim that they're not using artificial dyes in their products. The FDA has barred food makers from advertising that products contain no artificial colors unless they have no added dyes of any kind. And soybean futures rose after President Trump said China is considering buying more U.S. exports. During a call with the Chinese president, the two countries discussed lifting the soybean count to 20 million tons for the current season, according to Trump. Soybeans hit the highest level in 2 months on that news. Americans are twice as likely to consider moving elderly relatives under their roof than to explore retirement homes. That's a verdict of a survey of 2,000 Americans, which asked what living arrangements they will consider for older relatives. Results saw moving them into my home as the top option for consideration. This was conducted by Talker Research on behalf of Lovelane, and the survey also found many families haven't yet had the hard conversations needed to prepare for aging-related care decisions. TrumpRX, a pharmaceutical prescription site that the president says will lower drug prices, is now live. The site is not expected to sell drugs directly to patients, but it will be more of a central hub that will point them to different drug makers that are offering discounts so they can get a better price. TrumpRX targets people who are willing to pay with cash and forego insurance, which suggests that people without or with limited coverage may benefit the most. From the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Here's to your health.